things to do, places to eat, things like that, Mike up there is a great resource for you up there as well. So let us know if there's anything we can do to make your tour or your trip here in Hawaii better. This place that we're leaving from right now is called Kewalo Basin. And believe it or not, this spot right here has been used as a fishing port for almost 1,500 years now. You know, the ancient Hawaiians first sailed up here from French Polynesia, from Tahiti, about 2,600 miles away on their double-hulled voyaging canoes back in the 5th century AD. And when they got here, they would have found a pretty inhospitable coastline all the way along here. The reef extends out for over 100 yards from shore, all the way along the coast here in Oahu. But this place right here is a little bit different, a little bit special, because there's a stream that comes out. There's the Makiki Valley right back behind us over here. And all the rainwater that comes out of Makiki Valley funnels right down through this channel right where we are. And that fresh water, it comes out and it prevents coral from growing, because coral will only grow in good, nice, salty, salt water. And so it created a nice deep water channel through this area. And so very quickly they would have found this place to be able to get their canoes into shore. And like I said, started using it particularly as a fishing port, because nothing worse than being outside the reef all day and you're out with your canoe fishing and having to come back in through the surf break, risk capsizing, losing all that catch. And so that's why they would use this place in particular for that. Most of the fishing fleet was actually here right up until the 1990s. They've moved on since then. It's been replaced mainly with tourism. If you guys want to check out the fishing harbor, up in Honolulu Harbor, there's Pier 38, about 3 miles over to our right. And Pier 38 has a fish market every morning. It's an auction that starts at 5 a.m. Pretty impressive. They can actually see the, especially at the beginning of the year, some of the big ahi tunas can go for over $50,000 for a single fish. But Hoboken is Pico's, which Pico's Pier 38 has been a big regular fish. Right here, this restaurant. It's got a lovely view of Pro Diamond Head, but really, it's a bit smithy. So if you're not in the doghouse with your girlfriend or wife or something like that, you know, not necessarily worth going to by the sea. There we go. Check out Pico's if you're looking for a good fish dinner. I was talking about how the reef extends out for over 100 yards. And you can see wherever waves are breaking here, the water is less than 2 or 3 feet deep into that section. So it stays that shallow all the way out here. Wherever these guys are surfing, you know, waves, they don't break until they get into water that's about the same depth as they are tall. So little waves today, 2 to 3 feet, so they're all breaking in about 2 to 3 feet of water. You guys know what this is called? You get a bunch of surfers hanging out together, breaking waves. We call that a board meeting here in Hawaii. Some different, maybe there's a board meeting back home. But as I'm getting around the surf break here, guys, I'm going to start making my way for a time, and you can feel it's getting a little windy out here, so it's just going to get a little bit more bumpy. Also, make sure you guys watch your hats. You know, if the hat goes overboard, we'll do our best to go back and grab it, but better to keep it on the boat, on your head if you can. Also, the water should start getting nice and clear through here, guys. So let's start checking out these bottoms. You should be able to start seeing the bottom through here. Most of the really interesting stuff that we like to spend time at is up on the Waikiki. So I go pretty fast through here, unless we get into nice with the surface. So I'm trying to go for a long time. Hold on, since we're going to be going through these waves here. Oh, got a turtle already. Right hand side, guys. Got a turtle really close to the boat, right over here on the right. Really close to us. Got a Hawaiian green sea turtle right here. Yeah, he's probably going to pop up one more time. Through here. Hi, yes, come on here. Alright, everybody get a chance to see that turtle? Yeah, you also have turtles? Alright, well, tour's over, guys. We're going to go ahead and head back to the dock. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, that was a Hawaiian green sea turtle. Did you guys know the Hawaiian name for a sea turtle? Is Honu. Honu. So, now that you're going to have this first time seeing a Hawaiian green sea turtle, well, we call that a whole new experience. Don't worry, the jokes they get worse from there. Anyway, guys, like I was saying, I'm going to go pretty fast through this area. The faster I go, the boat will get a little bit more stable too. So most of the monster places I'm going to go hanging out are up Waikiki, so we're going to cruise here pretty quick, and then I'll slow it down again.
Where they live.
If you guys are looking to get out of Waikiki, get out of all the house
Okay, thank you.
here.
Back up, you're so close.
Ohana is a great place to go to. It's got this
You want one picture, video?
It's okay.
Ohana Mall is actually the second largest outdoor mall in the country. I certainly have to do the entire thing, but if you guys do like to shop, it's a good shop experience. Some people like to shop so much that they build those condos right over the top of there. Those things just opened up about 3 years ago, and when they first went on the market, they were selling for $6 million a piece. So you got to really like to shop if you want to stay there. Then way back behind, there's a big valley that goes right behind these buildings back here, up in the Kewalo Mountains. That's the Manoa Valley. And if you guys want to do the TLC thing, go chasing waterfalls, right back in Manoa Valley, it's got the best waterfall on the South Shore for us to go and hike to. It's about a mile and a half hike to get up to Manoa Falls up there, but definitely a worthy spot. Then right here at the end of Almont Beach Park, we have this peninsula that comes out here. This is called Magic Island. Magic Island is actually all man-made. It all used to be reef right there. But back in the 60s, they were going to build a big resort hotel out here. So they filled in the reef, built this peninsula coming out. The hotel project ended up going bankrupt. The property gets reverted back to the city and incorporated it. Now Magic Island is actually one of the best parts of the park. If you guys want to look for a new place to go watch the sunset, this corner over here on our left-hand side, that's the best place in the city to watch the sun go down. But if you guys are finding the water a little too rough and want to go swimming, this one's good right here behind the great rock breakwater. It's not my favorite place to go swimming. It's only 8 to 10 feet deep throughout the entire thing at its deepest points. And really nice and clear in there. There's never any waves or current because of those breakwaters. There's even fish in there, so it's actually a decent snorkeling spot. Got a lifeguard on duty until 4 o'clock every day, so that's a great place if you guys got some young ones and some older people with you aren't having a comfortable time getting in the water. Great to go check that out. As we pass Magic Island, we have the Alawai Canal starting right here. This is the official beginning of Waikiki. You have the Alawai Canal here, the Alawai Snowboat Harbor, and it's probably most famous because back in the 60s, right here in this channel is where the SS Minnow took off from, along with Gilligan, the skipper, and all the rest. Took off on their 3-hour tour, came right between these channel markers right here in the opening credits every week. And then the pilot episode, they were leaving from that harbor, walking the docks right through there. But down here at this end of Waikiki, we've got the largest hotel on the island. We've got the Hilton Hawaiian Village. One of their towers over here is one with the big rainbow mural on the side, and they've actually got 8 big old towers back there in the Hilton Hawaiian Village. It's quite a complex. It's got the 7 restaurants and stuff. Keep you into those places. But it's also one of those that is actually located right next door to the site of one of the last villages on the island. It's not away, but most famous resident ever, a guy by the name of Ohana. If you guys haven't heard of Ohana, he was a 5-time Olympic gold medal swimmer over 4 different Olympics back in the 1920s. And that was a pretty big deal. But even more than that, he's world famous for being the guy who brought surfing to the world. Because surfing actually started right here on the island of Oahu, up off of Waikiki in front of the Moana Surfrider Hotel. You have a surf break called the Canoes. That was the original surf break. It was reserved just for the royal family. Commoners couldn't surf. But by the 1800s, there was a surf, and Moku was one of the best. And when he would travel the world on swimming competitions, he would always bring a surfboard with him. And so he was the one that brought surfing to California, he brought surfing to Australia, and all the major hotspots around the world were all introduced to surfing by Ohana. Alright, so we're coming up to our first topic point of the day. We've got this old trucking barge that's about 100 yards in front of us, down underneath the water. Getting a little choppy through here, might be starting things up and get a little bit more murky, but we'll see how it looks as we go over the top of it. The barge, it's only in about 4 feet of water at this end. It extends all the way to the surf break. It's about 150 feet long. It extends off to our side over here. But as we go over it, it doesn't even look like steel anymore because it's been down there for 70 years. So everything just looks like rock. It's also grown over. But we'll go over here in just a second. But the nice thing about this barge is that we get tons and tons of fish that live inside this barge. And they normally come up to visit us as we go over. So keep your eyes peeled down to the glass bottoms as we cruise over the barge. It's just in front of the boat right now. And then bring them start getting fish to the surface of the water.
Thấy
here.
chưa em? Thấy chưa?
Looks like they're already coming up to the surface right now. So should be going over the top of that barge right now. And then our fish friends are all hanging out right at the surface of the water over here on the right hand side. Got tons and tons of fish right here at the surface of the water. These smaller kind of gold and silver fish with the vertical
Trời, anh quay đó đi, em quay cảnh lên đây.
In Hawaiian, or Sergeant Major tanks in English. And then the larger blackfish, those guys are the humu humu ele ele, the Hawaiian black triggerfish. And those guys, they're a real close relative of the Hawaiian state fish. Any of you guys know the name of the Hawaiian state fish?
Wow.
It's kind of a long one. It's actually the longest fish name in the world. It's the humu humu
Nemo.
or the fish with a snout like a pig. And they have this. These guys have the same shape as the humu humu nuku apua.
Look at all those
Kind
fish.
of pig-like nose to them. Should we just go over the front end of that barge again? Glass bottoms right now.
Một con nữa anh á. Mẹ đây.
Hey, Jack.
Hai con. Thích lên cái phim. Rớt đó nha. Wow.
Also getting a few of our bigger fish in there. There's really good sized ones. Those guys are called or gray chubs in English. Oh yeah, I'm getting a whole school of chubs coming up here now.
Anh cái chừng cái phone nha.
Yeah, we're not that popular. We're bribing the fish to come hang out with us. We're just throwing algae pellets in the water there for them.
No fish today will be. Dạ hết rồi. Để mẹ qua bên kia cái. Cẩn thận đấy nha.
Yeah, these Inanue are actually pretty good eating fish. They got a lot of meat on them. You don't see them in the restaurant menus, but you'll see them actually in the fish markets around town and things. Definitely have a little bit of an algae aftertaste to them. Doesn't help if I cook their meat and algae pellets to them this entire time. But, yeah, we're going to cruise one more time over the top of this barge up here, and then we'll keep cruising on up to our next spot. It goes by pretty fast because it's so shallow underneath the water up there.
Anh nhớ chừng phone đó.
Cruising on. I'm going to speed up for just a second. We got this shuttle boat coming in. We want to get across the channel here before they get here. We're going to cruise on to this next spot where these other boats are hanging out up over here. This little place called Turtle Canyon. We're going to do a snorkeling trip on any of the boats out of Waikiki. Good chance that this is where they're going to take you. It's definitely the best snorkeling spot along the whole coast here. And it's a turtle cleaning station up over here, meaning that there's a school of fish that live on the bottom of the ocean. All the algae environment comes from the turtle shell. The turtles come from all over, have a little spa day over here. Get the shells cleaned up, get a coat of turtle wax put on. So we normally get turtles when they come over here. We have another good school of fish. A lot of the same fish we saw before. We'll pick up another good school of fish over here. We'll come and check these guys out. Hopefully the water's clearing up a little bit for us. It's starting to get a little murky back there. It's a little tough as the south winds blow in, but the coral is really nice and healthy all through here, so normally you see lots of good fish down at the bottom. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for any turtles at the surface. We'll end up seeing it. They get pretty large.
I don't want to jump in.
Turtles on the bottom. There, a turtle just popped up right in the middle of all the snorkelers over there. It's just nice to these two that are right together. So, you know, the turtles are a federally protected species. You're not allowed to get within 10 feet of the turtles, actually. It's a $50,000 fine to touch a turtle. not cheap. Actually, oh, there's another turtle that popped up over here. Just to the right of the sparklers. I'm actually going to get a little closer to that guy. But you know, the turtles actually almost went extinct, mainly because they're actually really, really delicious. And back in the 1800s, in particular, when there was a lot of whaling going on, the whale ships used to come and stock up on turtles, so they're really easy to catch. Really good source of meat to take with them out to sea. And so they didn't almost go away. They are still very heavily protected, but fortunately they're coming back. That turtle's up on our front left-hand side now. It's a pretty good sized one. But yeah, if you guys do come snorkeling out here, the turtles really don't mind people, and so they'll often come up, you know, pretty close to you guys, because no one tells them to stay 10 feet away from you all the time, right? So, but on land, if you guys see a turtle, definitely good to stay well away from turtles on land.
Đấy, mình lâu rồi, mình còn lâu rồi. Lúc mà nó nói chuyện là quay được. Anh chừng rớt á, anh đứng vào trong anh quay đi. Có chừng rớt cái phone á. Cái phone nó bị rớt hoài đó. Một tiếng đồng hồ lận mà mình nhiều cơ hội lắm.
Hawaiian? It means land of expensive shopping. Or it's not actually true. No, the word Ohana means fresh water or drinking water. And Kiki means to spout. So Waikiki means natural spring or spouting water. This water used to be really wet first. So it's a perfect spot for growing hollow. Hawaiian makes it starch from Lithium makes wine out of it. They also had a this is really kind of a breadbasket of Honolulu throughout most of Hawaiian history. About 100 years ago, they dug a canal down the backside of Waikiki and intercepts all that rainwater, allows this whole area to dry out. And one of the first big buildings they built after that canal was the big pink hotel over here on the left-hand side. That's the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Built all the way back in 1927. And it was a copy of a hotel that was built a few years earlier in Kewalo Basin, Florida. And that's why it had that really distinctive kind of Art Deco Floridian design and architecture to it. It's a pretty iconic old hotel, but it's not the oldest hotel in Waikiki. The oldest hotel is more out. The building's so great. It's got a big candy tree right in the center of there. It's kind of like a big white house. It's the Ohana Surf Rubber Hotel. It goes all the way back in 1901, way before they dug the canal.
spare no expense. You guys see it from the roadside. It's one of the big white columns in the front of the light at night. And if you guys can see there when it first opened tonight, you don't want it would have cost you $1.50 a night. But the rooms haven't changed at all in 120 years, so you know, go figure. This whole beach along here, though, guys, this is actually all man-made. Waikiki Beach is a fabrication. It was brought in because of the hotels. Like I said, this area originally was a really healthy reef system out through here. It was a great place for fishing and all these things. Then after they built the hotels, they decided that they wanted to have a beach here, so they started bringing sand down from the west side, and that's why they have made up on the first shore. They ended up having to take so much sand from those places that those places were starting to lose their beach. So they prevented them from taking any more sand. So then they had to start bringing in barges of sand from different Australia. They were bringing barges of sand up here because, of course, there's not supposed to be a beach here. The waves are constantly grabbing that sand and bringing it out underneath us in the bay out here. If you guys look down, you can see there's a lot of sand on the bottom all throughout here. Never used to be any at all. And so over the past 20 years, they finally figured it out. They just bring a dredge in about every 5 years, just suck up all the sand on the bottom, and then go back on the beach, and then just move it around. If you guys want to take sand from Hawaii, don't take it from Waikiki. It's probably from where you guys are from in the first place. Better to pick up sand from any of the other beaches on Oahu. That's all real Hawaiian sand. Anyway, we're now in this perfect spot where we got this lovely kind of postcard view of Diamond Head up in front of the boat here. So if you guys want to get a shot of your group, your family with Diamond Head in the background, just whiz on up to the front of the boat and mic your phone to your camera. He'd be more than happy to get that shot for you guys. And then once you guys are done getting your picture, if you wouldn't mind clearing off to the side so everyone else can get a chance to be in that center spot up there, get their picture with Diamond Head, that'd be great. But Diamond Head is a extinct, collapsed, tuft cone volcano. And we know it's extinct, we know that it's never going to erupt again because we're not over the volcanic hotspot anymore. So there's one spot on the bottom of the ocean that's been erupting lava for over 100 million years. It created all the Hawaiian Islands. It's down underneath the Big Island right now. That's why the active volcanoes of Kilauea and Mauna Loa are underneath the Big Island. But a million years ago, when Diamond Head was active, Oahu used to be over that hotspot. So that means
on video?
Oahu used to be 200 miles to the southeast of us over there. So how do you move an island 200 miles, right? Well, if you paid attention back in 7th grade science class, well, Mrs. Murphy would have taught you all about plate tectonics, right? And the fact that the Pacific plate is constantly sliding over the top of that hotspot and moving the islands off to the northwest. So all the Hawaiian Islands at one time used to be down where the Big Island is today. Even the Big Island is actually almost off of that hotspot. There's already a new island forming off the southwest side of the Big Island. It's called the Wiki. It's still about 10,000 feet underneath the waves, but it's scheduled to be the 9th of the major Hawaiian Islands. And it's supposed to pop up above the surface in about 100,000 years. So, you know, by the time you guys save up enough to come back to Hawaii again, you know, then, yeah, you come check out Loihi. You'll probably already have a hotel on it by the time it pops up above the waves, right? But Diamond Head got its name because back in the 18th century, Western sailors anchored right where we are here today. They saw a bunch of shimmering up on that hillside. They thought there were diamonds up there, but they was friggin' rich. But they were sailors, they weren't geologists. They didn't understand that, geologically speaking, Hawaii is one of the youngest places on the planet. It hasn't been around nearly long enough to create diamonds. So what they were saying were just olivine crystals. So that's about volcanic activity, but not really worth anything. But the name Diamond Head stuck. But in Hawaiian, that mountain's actually known as Leahi. And Leahi translates into the brow of the tuna. And if you look at it from this angle, the ridge line looks very much like the dorsal fin of the yellowfin tuna. And so Leahi is definitely a bit of a better name for it. You guys have it on the right? Oh, another turtle right here on the right hand side. Yeah, just below the surface. Nice. Alright guys, we're going to hang out here and get a few more pictures, and there'll be time for us to turn around and start heading on back towards the harbor.
Yep.
Right over there on a fairly regular basis. Unfortunately, it's all condemned now because, you know, you built this pool right there on the ocean and big waves come in. Not that often, but every 5-10 years with big enough waves and they're crashing over the top of that thing. And it starts.
It could be anywhere where there's water. Yeah. You'll see a lot less of that on this side.
About 3 blocks up the road over here on our left called the Hawaiian. Hawaiian is a great place to go get some authentic Hawaiian, some lau, some squid luau, some kalua pig, all that sort of stuff. Or you can go in there and get some just good plate lunch, a lot of Hawaiian favorites, because you know the Hawaiians got wiped out by disease after first contact. So about 90% of the Hawaiian population died within the first 50 years of contact. And after that, they put in all these sugar plantations. They brought people from all over, from Korea, China, Japan, even from Portugal. And so now all of those foods are really Hawaiian food because these people have been here for 7, 8 generations. And so it's not the type of food that you would get back in Korea or someplace like that. It's very Hawaiianized. And so you see a lot of these Asian food joints around. You definitely got a local spin on things. So right next to the Hawaiian is another great place called Moku Kitchen. Has a lot of Asian fusion Hawaiian food over there. So there's definitely a couple good spots if you guys want to go grab some lunch. If you guys looking for some souvenirs or a little lighter something to eat, or just want to go support some little local vendors. Just across the street on the other side of this parking garage is a indoor swap meet. Over there, there's an old sports authority that is now an indoor swap meet. It's called the Ohana Marketplace, and it's full of lots of little vendors with local handicrafts, as well as a lot of the same touristy stuff that you can get down at the ABC store, but a lot cheaper here, and it goes to local, little businesses down there. Plus, they actually have a lot of little stalls in there for like shave ice and poke and stuff like that as well. So that's a nice place to go. It's open every day. Yep. And anyway, on behalf of Mike and myself, I want to say a big mahalo nui loa to you guys. Thank you so very much for joining us. We're always trying to figure out how to make this tour better, so if you guys do have any suggestions at all, please go ahead and write them down right on the back of a $20 bill, and you can leave them in our suggestion box right over here. More than happy to listen to any suggestions that come in that form. Thank you. But anyway, guys, if you guys wouldn't mind just grabbing a seat as we head back into the dock here, just so that I can see. Otherwise, I got to kind of feel my way in using the braille method. Oh, man.
Ủa, chưa xong
So
rồi.
yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I'll have you at the dock here in just a minute.
Con chỉ biết nói là con tạ ơn Chúa đã cho gia đình con có được các con của con mạnh khỏe ngoan ngoãn, và gia đình của con được bình an, mọi sự tốt lành nhờ sự nâng đỡ và che chở của Chúa Văn Phòng và Đức Mẹ. Con tạ ơn Chúa, con vinh danh Chúa muôn đời. Amen.